Nico Pitney goes to ask a question of the president in a press conference. Now, the reason is because President Obama, at least the administration, was aware that Nico was doing this live blog for this whole time through this Iran news story, and that he was getting correspondence from Iran. In fact, Nico said he was going to go to the press conference, and if he had a chance, he was going to ask a question directly from Iran. So he was getting emails and Twitters and Facebook messages from Iran, and then he was going to pick one of those, and he said the one that he thought would be most common or most representative of the questions that he was getting to the president. And the White House thought, that's cool. That's a new way of reaching out to the actual Iranian people. So they bring Nico in, and they're gonna, and they say, look, we're not going to promise you that you get a question, but come in and let's see if we can make it work, right? Well, the old media doesn't like this, and they got their panties really wound up in a bunch. And we got Michael Calderon from Politico saying, wait a minute now, okay, first of all, protocol was broken. Normally you take AP, then you take Reuters second, and here they took Huffington Post second, and that's just not cool. Okay, who cares, right? But that's a tiny thing. The real thing that they're worried about, and Dana Milbank of the Washington Post also wrote about it, they're like, this seems kind of like a plant, did the president know what the question was going to be? And la, 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 la. Huffington Post has been around all this time, and it has all of these readers, right? Mm-hmm. And they tell you in the blog, Nico's like, hey, they told me that they might ask me a question. They didn't say they will, but they asked. And here's what I'm thinking of doing. I'm going to get the... It's all right there. It's not like, ha, we got you. We found out that you were going to go to the White House to ask him a question, and that he might take it. He's like, yeah, that's because I told you. I put it in my blog. Anyway, so with this kind of lead-in, let's now go to this controversial question by Nico Pitney of Huffington Post. And as you'll see here, he does a pretty good job of asking a pretty tough question, but it's not him. It's coming from Iran, which I think is really cool, and I'm glad they did this. Let's check it out.
Since we're on Iran, I know Nico Pitney is here from Huffington Post.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nico, I know that you and all across the Internet, we've been seeing a lot of reports coming directly out of Iran. I know that there may actually be questions from people in Iran who are communicating through the Internet. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to use this opportunity to ask you a question directly from an Iranian. We solicited questions last night from people who were still courageous enough to be communicating online, and one of them wanted to ask you this. Under which conditions would you accept the election of Ahmadinejad? And if you do accept it without any significant changes in the conditions there, isn't that a betrayal of what the demonstrators there are working for?
Well, look, we didn't have international observers on the ground. We can't say definitively what exactly happened at polling places throughout the country. What we know is that a sizable percentage of the Iranian people themselves, spanning Iranian society, consider this election illegitimate. It's not an isolated instance, little grumbling here or there. There is significant questions about the legitimacy of the election. And so ultimately, the most important thing for the Iranian government to consider is legitimacy in the eyes of its own people, not in the eyes of the United States. And that's why I've been very clear. Ultimately, this is up to the Iranian people to decide who their leadership is going to be and the structure of their government. What we can do is to say unequivocally that there are sets of international norms and principles about violence, about dealing with the peaceful dissent, that spans cultures, spans borders, and what we've been seeing over the Internet and what we've been seeing in news reports violates those norms and violates those principles. I think it is not too late for the Iranian government to recognize that that there is a peaceful path that will lead to stability and legitimacy and prosperity for the Iranian people. We hope they take it.
first of all, it really is a solid-ass question, man. I agree with Obama's policy overall, but they're right to ask him and question him, hey, wait a minute, now, if you do recognize Ahmadinejad afterwards, which he probably will if Ahmadinejad makes it through this whole process, aren't you betraying the people you say you support, the protesters who are being beaten down, etc.? That's a tough question, man. There's no softy about that at all. And then Obama had to do his usual, let me sound eloquent for long enough that you forget what the question was. You know, and he did a good job of doing that. Mm-hmm. Now, so why is the media actually upset? Because they're like, oh, who's this newcomer in the Huffington Post? Wait a minute, there's an order here. We're the big guys, you're old media. That's what's happening here. Let's keep it real.
Totally.
Okay. I mean, look, now I might be stretching a little bit, but I thought I saw Chuck Todd, because I don't have my glasses on, so I'm not positive, but I saw Chuck Todd in that thing. So, Jesus, let's roll that again, where he was like, he's the guy in the beard in the front for NBC. So let's check this out here as Obama goes to Nico and see if we can see him grumbling in his seat.
Nico, I know that you and all across the internet, we've been seeing a lot of reports coming directly out of Iran. I know that there may actually be questions from people in Iran who are communicating through the internet. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I did
On the right.
to use this opportunity to ask you a question directly.
Sitting
from
down
Iran.
with the time.
Solicited questions last night from people who were still courageous enough to be
Oh, you're
communicating
so
online. One
right.
of them wanted to ask you this. Under which conditions would you
What a
accept
dick.
the
He's got that look on his face like, who the fuck is this guy to ask a question at my press conference? I'm fucking NBC. Who are you? Look, I know I'm going and putting a lot of, assumptions in there, right? So if he wasn't and he was just, who knows, maybe he was constipated, I hear you, okay? That's my bad. But that's what it looked like, didn't it?
Totally.
It's the first thing I saw when I looked at that.
Oh, really?
When I was surprised that I saw that because I was just watching the video when I was editing and I was like, man, Chuck Todd looks pissed about this. But I don't know.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. And then we found out they were all pissed about it, that the whole media was pissed about it afterwards. JR saw the video first, thought, why is Chuck Todd look so crabby? And then we find out later, they're like, yeah, the Huffington Post. This is my press conference. I'm old media. I ask the questions. Hey, listen, NBC, if you had someone who was communicating with people from Iran, then maybe you would have gotten the second question. But you didn't. Nico Pitney did, because he's been covering it probably better than anyone else in the country. And it makes perfect sense for Obama to field a question basically from Iran through Nico. Get used to it. Live with it.
Yeah, and the media is missing the point of what we're supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
We're supposed to get the facts. We're all supposed to, I know there's competition, but we all have the same goal, okay?
Yeah.
And
Of course, they don't see it that way. You're right. You're 100% right. But they don't see it that way. They see it as a competition.
Yeah, it's so stupid. They should be thinking, hey, this guy is asking a really interesting, difficult question. This is something that we can use on our show. It's a good thing. They don't see it that way. And it's so dumb.
I agree. And you know what, though? If you want to see it as a competition, great. Then why don't you compete with them? Why don't you get as good as sources? And ask as good of questions and ask as tougher questions, actually.